Good evening and welcome to day number 296 on our 9 o'clock update, 6 o'clock California, 9 o'clock Eastern, 4 a.m. in Ukraine as you are watching this. And we are thankful that you are here. Tonight is a special update. A lot of detail and data that we're going to share. It's compiled. It's understandable. There's video documentation. As you know, if you've been watching your regular news today is one of those big strike days. Russia has struck Ukraine from multiple angles, multiple different types of missiles from the sea, and we've got the full update for you. Now, tonight, Zhenya will be with us, but this is kind of crazy because we're preparing the stream, getting everything ready. He calls in at call-in time, and instead of being at home in his studio where he's supposed to be talking with me, we find out that our partner has had an accident today. Now, everything is okay relatively, and we'll get to that in a moment. This is live, real action from Ukraine, where I'm not sure you're going to get it anywhere else, but we're going to go inside the emergency room tonight and see what's going on. Our man has fallen in a hole. He is injured, and we'll let him talk about that in a moment. After that, I'm going to roll the detail of what has happened today, give the ins and outs of all of the strikes and all the other things. I mean, massive day. We were talking last night, day 295, that this was a big day due to what Ukraine was saying. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting? Yesterday, Zaluzhny, Reznikov, Zelensky, all of them saying, we're ready for what's coming. 24 hours later, massive missile strike happened throughout Ukraine. In just a little while, you will know everything about that. And before we jump over to Zhenya in the hospital, want to thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything that you do. And special thank you to our moderators who take care of the chat each night. Be blessed, guys. And let's go to the emergency room in Khmelnytsky, Ukraine. That's where we begin tonight.
Okay, man. Here's update.
Here's the update.
Hello from Ukraine. I broke a bone leg in the two places.
Do what?
Broke a leg in the two places, in two. Double trouble. So I will need two types of fixing. Today is a temporary, and tomorrow or after tomorrow they will need to put the other one, the better quality, in the private clinic, as though otherwise it will take from 6 weeks minimum. So to make it easier and possible to walk somehow, I will need at least 2 days of not touching my leg, feet. So what about update today? Quite.
What happened?
I just. I did. Okay. I did it wrong. I did park in a new place where I never parked because everything were busy, occupied, and I didn't expect it was a foggy and a really late, dark time. No electricity on the streets, and there were a hole on the road, big one. I stepped in.
So with the procedure, okay, it doesn't get any better than this. Slava Ukraina.
Слава Україні! Героям слава!
Jega, so with the treatment they're going to do, a couple of questions before we give the update from the hospital. 2 days, nothing on your feet, and then you go to a private clinic.
Yeah, because they need to wait that the size of my feet will become normal. And
It's
then can
swollen.
they put, yes, they can put the other type of fixation, the plastic.
I
And
s-
then it will give me possibility to walk somehow. And Ina doesn't know, Ina knows nothing, and kids knows nothing now, this moment. So,
so we're going to
uh,
tell the whole world, and your wife and children know nothing.
let me tell my wife first, because otherwise the price, of payment will be like the other one.
Fortunately, I see that it's your left leg.
Yes,
So
and some
I'm
will,
assuming you
yeah,
still, once you can get squared away, will go to Netherlands to visit your family for Christmas.
yes, and they do recommend crutches.
Crutches.
Crutches, okay.
That's okay. Looks like I'm going to be doing a lot of driving.
Дуже наш порівняє.
No problem.
It will be okay. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm not worried at all. I'm just sorry it happened. And of
It's
course,
okay, man. I have to admit, if not Tigran, I wouldn't go home. I called Tigran that tomorrow morning I cannot drive the van to take humanitarian aid because something happened with my feet. He said, "Man, please go right now to emergency trauma." I said, "I don't see the reason." He said, "No, go." And
Tigran, of
then they,
course, is a partner of ours that works with us. So,
yeah,
well, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
it's okay. Let me.
Яку ви країну їдете?
В
Німеччину?
Нідерланди.
Нідерланди?
Да.
А якщо ви з нашим поїдете, вас пропустять через кордон? Може в них
Folks,
там
while he's talking to the doctor, where else can you watch this on YouTube?
по терміну?
Ні, я візьму тут в приватній клініці, заплачу і...
He's going to go to a private clinic, do the next phase, he
Я
said.
походити. Ви не зможете, там той гіпс, він не еластичний, він такий, пластмаса заливається по вашій нозі, і він застигає. А вас тиждень ще буде йти набряк. І за того я переживаю.
Тоді...
Раніше понеділка ми не можемо покласти навіть за
Where else
любі
can you watch
гроші.
this on YouTube?
Вас там буде пекти і
Emergency room
боліти.
inside Ukraine.
У мене дочка 6 неділь
Okay,
ходила, і це
here is the
серйозно.
situation, his recommendation. They say one of the nurses she gives. She says, da. She says, I would highly recommend if you go to, the other country, go like this and put the fixation there because you need at least 5 days in this before
Okay.
to put the. But okay, I will need a decision about that.
So you may be getting the next phase of work in Amsterdam.
I don't know. Yeah, I will
That'll
call
be
you.
okay.
Let me think about that.
This was not a part of the planned update today on 296. This was...
Yeah,
He called me,
it was
said, no, he called me, said, pop into the green room. I need to talk to you. And voila, here we are. Well, today was a big day, a real big day.
Yeah.
And what I've done, I knew that you were busy today, not falling in holes, but I knew that you were busy with a lot of work today. So I went ahead and compiled the update, laying out, according to the Air Force, what actually happened on all the attacks. So if it's all right with you sitting there in pain, there we go. Beautiful.
Тільки нога має бути отак.
Я не вірив.
Голова на одній подушці, щоб набряк спадав. Зараз вам доктор розкаже всі
Okay. Now I will need to take a break.
Okay.
And here doctor comes, so I need to take a break and to get all needed advices to how to treat,
Okay,
and then I will come back.
let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this because you look like you got good Wi-Fi at the hospital. So let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
I've already compiled the data because so many strikes
Okay.
took place today. I'm going to roll
Yes.
that video and then wait for you to call back into me.
Here's
And-
doctor.
Дякую. Slava Ukraina.
Героям слава.
До перемоги. Увидимся в январе.
Окей.
Да. Okay, Jacob, I'm going to roll the update now for what happened. Buzz me back.
Yeah, let me call you back. Yeah, bye.
Согласен. Пока. Folks, there we are. And this is going to be a crazy update, as you can tell. Let's do exactly what we're talking about. And he'll call back in just a minute once he talks to the doctor. This is what is unfolded today. How did this mass attack today on December the 16th unfold? Yuri Ignat, who is the head of the Air Force, gave an overview of this attack during his afternoon briefing today for Ukraine and the world. For the first time in this war, Russia used a Tupolev or a Tu-95 propeller bomber. They were launched from the Ingalls Air Force Base, and that is the base where Ukraine had recently struck it with drones. Ignat went on to systematically lay out the attack as it unfolded throughout the morning. According to him, and I'm quoting now, he said, "Today the enemy used the entire available arsenal against us. The Su-35s were used in this attack. Additionally, the MiG-31s were used in this attack. And today we were hit by drones that, to this point, we have yet to determine what make and model they were." After that, Yuri Ignat went on to lay out step by step how this attack unfolded this morning. First, Tu-95 bombers coming out of Ingalls Air Force Base launched Kh-555 and Kh-101 missiles at Ukraine. Simultaneously, ships in the Black Sea, the Russian Navy launched Caliber cruise missiles. At the same time, Tu-22 M3 bombers fired Kh-22 missiles, and the Su-36 launched Kh-59 missiles. And unfortunately, while all of that was happening, simultaneously, missiles from the S-300 systems were launched from ground-to-ground targets. I remind you that only Russia has this technology, converting the S-300 from a ground-to-ground, because typically it's used ground to air. In response to that, after that happened, Mikhail Podolyak tweeted out. He said this: "Moscow loves to show off. Reoffensive, Kyiv capture, landing on Mars, corrupt imperialists gratify their egos in the corridors of the Kremlin, giving orders to the military. But there is a problem. Russian generals do not tell about these plans that they hope for," and I add that part, "cannot be implemented. Ukrainians will not allow." That tweet coming out, just letting the world know this is the plan of Russia, but Ukraine will stand strong and Ukraine will not give up. After that, Alexei Danilov tweeted out. Remind you, he is the Secretary of Defense. This tweet here that you are seeing in the Ukrainian language states this: "If the world does not draw the right conclusions from what you are witnessing, this Ukrainian war of independence will become a prologue to the Great War." And of course, he is alluding there to World War III. Many things are happening right now, and the world must pay attention. So there you have Podolyak's tweet, and you have Alexei Danilov's tweet, all in response to what Russia launched this morning. After that, Dmitry Kuleba came out, and he stated, For each Russian missile or drone aimed at Ukraine and Ukrainians, there must be a howitzer delivered to Ukraine, a tank for Ukraine, an armored vehicle for Ukraine. This would effectively end Russian terror against Ukraine and restore peace and security in Europe and beyond. Once again, Ukraine calling for weapons. We need howitzers. We need tanks. We need armored vehicles. Now, let's take a little closer look and see what some of the results of the attacks were from today. Power plants throughout the country have been hit, and Ukrenergo announced early this morning that there was an emergency situation throughout the nation. Now, as of now, this emergency situation has been lifted, but as a result of the missile attacks today, more than 50% of energy capabilities have been lost. Basically, this morning, the system completely crashed, and Ukrenergo explained that restoration of power supply after today's attack will take longer than before, especially in the north, the south, and the central regions, because they suffered the most damage. Let's look at Kryvyi Rog for a moment. The head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional State Administration came out just a little while ago and announced the latest information about the consequences of the attack in that city, where residential buildings were actually struck. Unfortunately, 2 people did lose their lives under the debris of a residential building in Kryvyi Rog after the Russian rocket strike. And as of now, 6 people wounded, 3 of them children. The 2 that lost their lives were children, and right now rescuers are still searching under the debris for a 1.5-year-old child that has not been found to this point. Mykolaiv in the south, emergency power outages have begun, and that city as well experienced serious attacks today. The mayor of the city came out just a little while ago and spoke that the boiler rooms were offline and heat supply could only be resumed after the situation was stabilized. In addition, in Mykolaiv, trolley buses and trams are temporarily not working, and purified water is unable to be delivered by electric transport. Yesterday, we discussed Kharkiv, and once again, Kharkiv today is still in the news. Critical infrastructure objects hit again, according to the mayor, and Kharkiv right now is struggling with power and infrastructure. The city of Zaporozhye, 12 missiles today targeted the critical infrastructure, including gas, heat, and electricity. The terror event continues against the civilian population. A city that we mention, but not quite often, Poltava. Poltava right now is completely de-energized due to the strikes. However, repairs are ongoing, and soon they are hoping to get some emergency power going. A couple of other issues we want to look at closely. Donetsk mines today, because of the Russian rocket attack, more than 10 mines, coal mines, were without electricity in the region due to the power outages. And as of right now, 2,000 people, 2,000 miners are stuck underground. They are alive, and measures are being initiated to bring them up safely. This is a recurring theme that happens over and over as the Russian terrorists attack peaceful workers again. Now, let's zoom in and think about Kyiv for a moment. Today, 40 rockets, missiles were launched at Kyiv. The good news is 37 of them were shot down by the air defense. This was one of the largest rocket attacks on the city since the beginning of this invasion, February 24th, 2022. I'm going to play you a clip now of the air defenses working in Kyiv. Make sure your volume's up and listen closely. This is what people were experiencing today. In this second clip from Kyiv, person traveling across the bridge actually was able to record one of the strikes against critical infrastructure there in Kyiv. Let's take a look at this.
Сука, быстрее проезжаем, пожалуйста. Давайте быстрее проедем. Пизда. Ебать, ну быстрее. Сука. Медленно. Ебать.
Unfortunately, due to all of this, all the subways, the metro system, which literally during normal time, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, if not a million people, ride daily. The metro systems of Kyiv are absolutely massive. They are all offline. Therefore, buses are jam-packed. People are still working. People are still trying to go through normal life. And this is what they experienced today in Kyiv.
Київ Пастранс. Не хватає резервів. Цілий день не можу добратися на лівий берег.
Finally, regarding Kyiv, Mayor Klitschko came out today and gave an update on the news, explaining to people that yes, there were some critical hits in several districts of the city, and our infrastructure is under attack. We will have to deal with some energy supply issues, and today there will be interruptions with electricity, water, and heat in our beautiful capital city.
Влучань в кількох районах міста. Не таємниця, що орки били по критичній інфраструктурі нашого міста. І на кількох об'єктах енергозабезпечення, на жаль, є пошкодження. І тому зараз в столиці є перебої зі світлом, водою, теплом.
Kupiansk is a city in the east. While the massive airstrikes were happening from airplanes and Navy ships, Kupiansk was experiencing its own mass attack. Not from airplanes and ships, but from S-300 ground-launched missiles, as Russia is trying to push back on the city of Kupiansk, where Ukraine liberated it just weeks ago. Additionally, Moldova back in the news today. Moldova today struggling with power, significant power outages due to their connections to the Ukrainian grids and systems. Once again, Moldova having to deal with the Russian strikes, even though they are not in the war. Interesting video here. A Moldova commercial plane was flying out of Kishinev on the way heading north, and a person was videoing out of their plane window and captured, unbelievably captured, some of the strikes as they were happening in Ukraine today. Take a look at this. Finally, the commander of the Ukrainian armed forces, Zaluzhny, came out and said, here are the final numbers from just the missile attacks. Today, there were 76 missiles launched at Ukraine. Ukrainian air defense was able to take out 60. We have had 16 confirmed strikes on our infrastructure and our civilians. We need air defense. So there you have it, folks. Hopefully that helps you understand quite a massive missile strike throughout the nation today. Yes, air defense did do a good job overall, but still we had 16 hits. And we get to the same story as always. We need air defense. Remember, this was not ground attacks that did all of this damage today. Zero. This was air attacks. Even the S-300s that were attacking in Kupiansk and on the Eastern Front while the missiles were flying are still big missiles. This was not troops. This was not artillery. So the call stays the same. And with that said, I even have Zelensky here making a statement just in his night address. Ukraine is not backing down. Do not doubt it for 1 second.
На що б там не розраховували, ракетопоклонники з Москви, це все одно не змінить розстановки сил в цій війні їм ще вистачить ракет для кількох таких масованих ударів. Нам вистачить цілеспрямованості і віри у себе, щоб і після цих ударів повертати своє.
There you have it. That was a part of his evening address, but that's the main part that you can see in the English language tonight. Yes, they have more missiles for more attacks, but we're not going to give up. We're going to keep the faith, and we're going to work hard, and we're going to win this war and take back what is ours. Now, I do have Zhenya back in here. We've got him out of the hospital. We've got him back home, and let me roll him in here. All right, bud. How's the... Well, first of all, we'll talk about the foot in a minute, but you know what's going on. You're in Ukraine. I've covered everything in the update, every city, every attack, video coverage, the Tupolev 95. It's the first time Russia has launched those big bombers since the war began. We've got it all covered. So, what is your thoughts just on the strikes itself today? And overall, Ukraine defended as well as they could with the air defense systems we have. It was massive.
Yeah. So I would say that it was kind of expected because they had no like a big success, and effectiveness of their strikes were quite poor from the previous strikes, and our guys were started to do it better and better with every new strike. So they changed tactic. So when they sent 40 missiles into one city, surely with that kind of air defense systems we have, it's not easy. I would say almost not possible to shoot down 100% all of those missiles. So I think it could be a possible that strategic in the future hits strikes as well, choosing a place, and then like Dnipropetrovsk, Dnipro region, 10 missiles at one region, and then 40 to Kiev. And
Yes.
For example, Khmelnytsky region, they use, seems to me, just one missile. Our guys shoot it down. So Khmelnytsky district, no problem.
They were focused on those particular cities, just like you said, and Ukraine did a good job, to be quite honest, and we can see that you have power there. The resiliency is even stronger, and Ukraine is going to fight to win this war. But it just solidifies the call that we need air defense. And, you know, last night on the update, we talked about two things that I kind of think about. Number one, it was Reznikov, Zaluzhny, and Zelensky that came out and said, we know the winter offensive is coming. We know that they're going to increase, but we're prepared for it. And today, missiles are flying. And secondly, remember last night, we were talking about timing, because there's talk that Patriots are coming, that other systems are coming, that resupplies are coming, and bam, we get this hit before Patriots can get in the country.
I think there is no doubts now. I hope there is no doubts anymore in the countries. I mean, what kind of that Putin in negotiations and about anything like their motivation of Russia. Don't expect anything logic. So Iran, with the agreement of Russia and agreement with Belarus, I would say Russia with agreement of support of Iran and Belarus and other countries, are throwing a challenge to all the countries who are talking that they are helping Ukraine and never, and will be helping more than it. Now it's like challenging. Okay, guys, we will see. It will be that kind of help and support of Ukraine, at least equal to what the supplying of missiles from Iran side and other countries who is helping Russia in that war.
Very interesting that you say that, because you know you've been in the hospital, so you do not know all of the details of the update tonight. You've not been able to see it, but Reznikov came out today earlier and said, "Make no mistake about it. If you've doubted to this point, we're on the edge of World War III. Nations are coming together, and it's a problem." And a couple of the guys and the sources that I follow out of Israel said the same thing today about Iran, but not only Iran, the entire Arabic or world of Islam, nations of Islam. He said very clearly, and he's a Jew, he says we have far left Islam and we have far right, and they're going to divide, and some will go with Russia, like Iran, and others will go with NATO, like Turkey. And what's going to happen is when these Muslims start getting very angry at each other, then you're just going to escalate this war. So it all lines up with what you're saying. Every bit. We're close.
Yes, and okay, the situation is like this. Let's take, here is the situation. There is the family members and there is neighbors. Surely the family members are obligated and must fight for own family as much they can. But the neighbors, they have a choice to help or not to help, let's say. But in a situation when they see that the other big men are beating the small kid, let's say, on the street, so what kind of help they can supply, and it's up to them. Oh, they can say, oh, no, this is wrong. We argue, we disagree, we have complete disagreement. Cannot be, 5 men cannot beat one small boy. Oh, we will not share with you next time on, we will not invite you on the birthday next time. Yes, it is possible. Or, okay, man, here's a bandage you can offer to the small boy. But coming to the situation, the big Russia, 28 times bigger country, invaded openly without after all the lying, to all the world that we will not touch, the Ukraine and the borders, blah blah blah. They attacked us, invaded us, and now it was a question to all the society, the other countries. Will it be the real help and the big help without doubts and without attempts of save the face of the Putin or image of Putin and trying to be friends with all of these abusers, or giving a big time, 1 year of preparation, taking all the possible weapon and armor, everything to continue attack wounded Ukraine, and when there is a possibility to make this war short with official announcement, we don't want to fight in Ukraine, but with the help of weapon, we have to help and stop this war, not making it like a year of killing of citizens of Ukraine one by one. Millions of the economy loses, not just for Ukraine already, for all the countries who are trying to help, but let's say being straight enough, brave enough to say, stop, not possible, we don't care about such, we cannot handle it. Our nation, we will not survive if we will not giving a full help now, because our next generation will not understand us. They will never say that we were right by sitting and say, okay, let's give them they have a really bad situation with the artillery, like 1 unit to 10 from Russian side. Let's give them 2 units.
Correct.
And then let's post it in all possible, especially our local, that this country, we helped a lot. We will give them some, some artillery. Yes, it was Soviet time, but it's okay. We didn't ignore. We will continue buying and spending, wiring Russia the millions and billions of US dollars and giving them the units and say, yes, we helping, and then no, we cannot help anymore. Let it be rust in our garages, all of this weapon, and then if Russia win, then we will start negotiation with Russia, because we already traded with Ukraine, or what? And it's a question, it's a principal question of firm position, no doubting, facing and calling the Russian regime, calling Putin, calling Russian people and nation, if they support the fascism, it should be called the fascism, Nazism, genocide, no doubts, in own countries, not trying to save Putin's face or sorry, own face, because the truth will be revealed anyhow. Anyhow, it will be revealed.
I think when this man was in the hospital, they gave him some adrenaline. What a perfect summary. Listen, perfect summary to describe from a Ukrainian viewpoint what I just shared in the update. It's perfect. Now, think about this, and you have to think no further. Kryvyi Rog, I've already covered it tonight, but Kryvyi Rog, 2 children killed, babies, and 1 they're still looking for. So this is...
And 6 wounded, seems to me.
6 wounded, that's correct. It's terrorism. We're dropping missiles.
It's a terrorism and genocide. Okay, it's a genocide when the official channel, official government channels are freely discussed. We need to wipe this nation out. What about their nations? What about, no, not other nations? What is evaluation? You still have their embassies. You still not canceling their visas. You still having diplomatic relationship while they're publicly the biggest, one of the biggest country of the world, telling we need to wipe out Ukraine as a nation. We need to kill them all. We ignore all the situation. Yes, we know that all people are dying. The maternity hospital are not working. Yes, they have struggling, and Russia said that they are happy. This is just beginning because they did claim it's their land. Hitler claimed that they are the only nation, over nation. Russia claiming the same. What is the difference? They say, okay.
Think about this difference. And I was just thinking about the same thing. Your foot may be broken, but our brains are working. Listen, in 1942, World War II, we saw Hitler and Germany do the same thing. But there was a major difference. Major. And this is what makes it sad. In 1942, it could be days or weeks before information would come to the masses about what had already happened. Today in 2022, we know, I'm getting the information that the missiles are in the air. The planes are flying before the missiles have ever hit. The world knows, of course, American intelligence, NATO intelligence, Great Britain, and all the other nations, they know the missiles are in the air. They know it. And we still are dealing with this. Hopefully it changes. Well, we'll be on tomorrow, and we'll be updating again. Let's go to the second major story of the night. How you feeling, and how's the foot?
Yeah. I feel great. Everything is okay. Nothing, has been changed. Yeah, I'll be resting a little bit at home.
Okay.
I did promise the doctor because they said, okay, we've heard your story and the plans for beginning of January, your long trip there, and helping with the other thing, receiving the aid, sending the aid, the teams. I said, okay, we got it. Let's do most effective ways. And yeah, we made an agreement.
They've given you the plan to heal the fastest and the best. So
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
We'll do
so
what they say.
After tomorrow, I go to private hospital, and I need to call my doctor before he will contact his person there. He's the other doctor, and they will do everything for fixing me as soon as possible. Then, yeah, I'm okay.
Do I need to order some Grubhub and get you some food at home? Delivery?
No, everything is fine.
Okay, listen, I know. Here's the big question of the night. Well, there's 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to tell you, and I'm sure everybody else in the chat now will scream the same. Please do what the doctor says for the next few days at least. Okay?
Yeah, I will.
I got a huge shipment coming we got to deliver. You get healed. Secondly, you need, most importantly, equally important. No, most important. You need to get to Amsterdam and see your wife. Plus, that's where you're picking me up. So, do what they say. But
Yeah, I will.
I know this is the question in the chat, or this will be a question in people's brains. If the power goes off, how fun is it going to be climbing 16 floors in your situation now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is maybe if you hear that sound.
I do.
This is my washing machine because I need to finish the loader because before the power goes off. Because it's a third time I'm starting process, and in the middle power goes off. So I'm trying to load a Mark jacket already 24 hours. So yeah, it's finishing. 9 minutes left. So sorry for that.
No problem.
Sound.
Hey, no problem. So we'll be talking. You'll be home. We'll be back in 23 hours for day 297, but 296, quite a tough day, not only in Ukraine, but also for our partner here. And you're already on the road to healing, so that's good. So get some rest, and please do what they say. We'll be praying for you and believing for the best, and we'll keep updated on your recovery day by day.
Yeah. Yeah,
right, buddy.
Thank you. Everything is okay? Yeah.
Everything's okay, and you're smiling.
And thank you to all the people. Thank you to all the people who checking the facts, checking the reality, sharing these facts to not. I mean, people would not be like the deceived.
Deceived.
Yes. Deceived. Okay. And thank you for supporting, and thank you for interest in the situation in Ukraine, to my country. Thank you.
And I would add on to that, your job, if you're here and supporting, is hit that like button, share it, really share it. It's not like somebody says, well, I'm praying for you, and they never pray for you. Please share the broadcast, like it, drop your comments, just say hello from wherever. It's important for all these algorithms to get the truth out. Last question I have is, how deep was the hole that you dropped in?
Not that. It just
twisted it.
Twisted. I couldn't see because it was foggy, no lights, on the street, and it was in a place I never parked before. The new place I never checked because I didn't expect. We don't have in this area this kind of holes. So
the broken bones, are they actually in your foot or in your ankle?
Ankle.
In the ankle. You broke your ankle. Okay. That's what we call it. Well, step by step, you'll be healing.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. We'll get some rest. Get that 7 more minutes on that coat finished, and stay out of the elevators.
Yeah. 6 more.
All right. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. A good night to all.
To all, a good night.